Welcome to Rules of the Pit. We have with us a woman who is no stranger to the punk rock music scene, a woman whose performances are not for the prudish, a woman who uses all her assets to make a point and some people uncomfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Suzi Moon.
Ooh, do I make people uncomfortable? That's awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you for the really, really sweet introduction. That's cool. And I'm very happy to be here with you guys tonight. I love coming on to the various different podcasts. I feel so lucky that I get to do this because, you know, the last couple of years have been super fucking weird. We haven't been out mingling as much at shows. So like really like a part of my soul is fed when I get to talk to other people who love punk rock as much as I do.
Well, we certainly have an audience that's going to love you because that's the sentiment that everything that we're trying to do has reached, and the audience is amazing. So, you know, thank you for coming.
Awesome. Hell yeah. I'm stoked to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you on, Suzi. So I guess I'll kick this off with a real quick question. Out of the six of us, I'm kind of like the resident fanboy, like comic books and stuff like that, like a little bit nerdy, whatnot. And I love a good origin story, like finding out that Wolverine's over like 100 years old and actually had started out with bone claws. In regards to like punk rock, what's your origin story? How'd you get started, like from point A and all the way up to point B till right now?
Yeah, well, I didn't know that about Wolverine, so I just learned something. Thank you. Yeah, well, I got started playing punk rock when I was about 15. My older sister, Liza, had a band called Civet. They were an all-girl punk band based in Long Beach, California, where I grew up. And I didn't know that I had any kind of musical inclination as far as an instrument goes. I loved, you know, running around my house with a hairbrush, pretending to be Britney Spears, because you got to think this is the early 2000s and I'm 32. So that was the era when there was a lot of pop stuff that was happening. And my sister was like, listen, I'm going to start bringing you to shows. I want you to join the band. This will be really cool. And I still to this day idolize my older sister, you know. So I was like, anything you want me to do, like you'll let me hang out with all your cool friends, I would love to do that. So she put a guitar in my hand, and I mean, from that point on, it just felt like things moved really, really fast. We got signed to Dwayne Peters' Disaster Records. He was married to Corey Parks at the time, and they were doing a band called Die Huns. So we got to play a lot of shows with Dwayne and Corey, and I was so young. I was just soaking this shit up. Like, wow, these people are like really fucking punk, you know? And Dwayne Peters knows how to put on a fucking show, and so does Corey. So we hit the ground running. We recorded an album with them. Pretty soon after that, we got picked up by Hellcat Records. And while we weren't produced by Tim, he was really heavily involved in the process of, you know, picking out which songs were going to be on the record, putting us, you know, with the right producer for the record. And we ended up releasing 2 albums with Hellcat, the Hell Hath No Fury record and Love and War record. We fucking toured like nonstop for like 8 years. We were just always on the road. We got to go to Japan with Flogging Molly, which was super cool, and the Street Dogs. I just remember being in like these like Japanese 7-Elevens at like 4 a.m, like really drunk, picking out crazy Japanese snacks, like with the whole crew. And I mean, the fans over there, every musician's dream is to go and play in Japan, you know, and we, you know, getting a copy of our record in Japanese, you know, that was a mind-blowing experience. Yeah, so after that, I just took a little break from music because, you know, I think all young people go through a point in their lives where like, what am I doing with my life? Do I want to, you know, stay on this path that I've been on, or is there something else I want to try and explore? So I went to film school for a little while, and I started making videos, and the itch came back. You know, I missed being on stage, and I missed having that way to express myself. And I'd gone through so many changes in a short amount of time, from being in civet to not being in civet, and suddenly having like kind of a more normal sort of life, that I was like, shit, I've got songs, you know, I've got stories again. So I picked my guitar back up and started a band called Turbulent Hearts, which was a really special time for me because it was the first time I was the front woman, lead singer, kind of like band leader, you know, because that was really my sister's role in Civet, you know, and I learned so much from her by being like her right-hand man, but it was like time for me to do it on my own. And Turbulent Hearts, we fucking toured and we played a lot of shows too. We self-released 3 EPs and we went over to Europe a couple times. And, you know, that just, when it was done, it just felt like, not like a bad thing, but it felt like that project had completed exactly what it set out to do, you know, and it was over and it was good. And so I call Suzi Moon, the solo project that I'm doing now, like that's like me, like fully realized, like basically what I've been building towards since I was that little girl with the hairbrush and singing the Britney Spears songs, you know, like I was always going to get to this place, but you have to take every single step and there are ups and there are downs, you know, and all of those experiences led me to where I am now, where I've got like just a lot more confidence in myself. And the vision is so clear. And I'm so lucky to have these incredible bandmates, you know, I'm playing with like the best dudes I've ever played with. And we're doing exactly what I've always wanted to do. So it's like, cool, what the fuck else does the universe have in store for me? Because I'm down.
Over the past 2 years with this pandemic, you know, how has it really challenged you as an artist and a performer in general? You know, you still have been keeping pretty busy. Like, you know, I've been watching you for the past year or so, and I know you've still been getting out there and touring and releasing new stuff. But, you know, obviously the pandemic, as you mentioned earlier, you know, you haven't been able to get out and engage with the audience as much. But like, how has the pandemic really challenged you as your artist?
Yeah. Well, really that thing that you said, being with other people that's the payoff for all of the work, is really being in a shared space with other people that love it as much as you do. And there's that energy exchange, you know, and when I'm not out playing shows, I'm totally a homebody. Like I'm not out every night. I'm not partying, you know, I'm totally a fucking workaholic. So during the pandemic, I just had my to-do list every single day. Like, I feel like that was actually a moment for me to kind of pull back from, maybe because I was still living in LA when the pandemic started. And before that time, it was like, wow, there's just a buddy's show was every single night, you know. Sorry, I was getting a phone call, even though I specifically told that person I would be on a different phone call at this time. And you know, a lot of distractions can happen when you're in a really big city. And, you know, I've been plugged into that scene for so long. I needed the fucking break from the social life, you know? So I was able to like pull back and make my lists. And after I'd started talking to Pirates Press Records, they were like, hey, we've got this timeline basically. And I'm like, great, here are like a billion things I want to do, and I'm just going to get them done. And I had zero distractions, you know, but nothing compares to being on stage or being at a show with people and hugging them and talking to them by the merch and making new friends and stuff. So for me, that's where my spirit struggled a lot, because it was like, wow, I'm putting out these records and I'm releasing music videos and people seem pretty stoked on Instagram, you know, but like, is this going to translate into anything in real life? I really needed to get back out there and see if what I was feeling, you know, other people were feeling too. But the few tours that we did last fall, like they were really fucking good. And our band had a fantastic time and it seemed like people were really digging it. So, man, we're all so over that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but your music reminds me of a lot of Riot Girl bands that I remembered.
Fuck.
So that's not a
Then
bad
I'm doing
thing.
it wrong.
No, you actually might be doing something right. You got to sprinkle a Lydia Lunch in there too. You know, some
I like
feminists
her.
see provocative, sexualized female performers as hurting the
Sure.
ideology, and some conversely might find your performances empowered. So, what is your motivation or for the perceived or intended performance?
It's definitely not Riot Girl, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If anything, it's in spite of Riot Girl. But I don't know. I just don't get that scene. It's weird. But I do like artists that push the button. I think actually embracing my sexuality and my femininity is in itself a sort of controversial thing to do in this day and age. And I want everybody in the fucking world to feel beautiful, you know, and what works for me isn't going to work for the next person, you know. And that's why I've always been drawn to punk rock, is because it's that freedom to express your inner weirdo, you know. And I mean, I grew up just watching all old Hollywood movies, and like I said, idolizing the Britney Spears and the Marilyn Monroes, and remember when like Anna Nicole Smith was still really, really hot, and like Pamela Anderson was like everywhere with Tommy Lee, like that weird like late 90s, early 2000s thing.
Remember the boat that they were on?
Not the boat that you remember, Johnny. It's the
Oh yes, no, it was Tommy Lee's
Oh,
giant schlong. That was really
the long slip. I mean, if we're gonna get in the boat.
But it's like embracing being a woman, and you know, owning these parts of myself that I'm very proud to have, you know. And I like to get dressed up. I like to put on a show. I don't, you know, I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I could say a lot of things that would just really piss people off. And I'm kind of in that mood today, so I'm just going to stop myself.
Well, we're all about pissing people off. We've had our share of that, but
Yeah.
So then is it that attitude that kind of helped you, you know, from then to now change the name, you know, because obviously you went by a different name in the past, and now you've moved to Suzi Moon.
Oh, like you're talking about Suzi Homewrecker?
The homewrecker part, yeah.
Okay, so I have a great story about that. That was not a name of my choosing. Like I said, my older sister was in the band with me, and it was her band. And when I joined, she's like, you need a punk rock name. All punk rockers need a cool name for the stage. And I was like, okay, cool. Give me a couple days. I'm going to think of something, you know? And then she was like, we're going to call you Suzi Homewrecker. And I was like, what? No. And she was like, yeah, no, that's definitely what it's going to be. It's cute. And I was like, I don't like it at all. And she's like, well, I already put it on the website. So I didn't really have a choice with that one. But you know, it's cute and stupid, and I think that's kind of the point anyway. But for me, I never like felt any sort of like real connection to that. It was definitely like a nickname given to me by an older sibling. Is like the best I can explain that. But yeah, when I was about 22, somebody, you know, I've always been like a little bit like on the hippie kind of spiritual, like on my own path kind of thing. And somebody referred to me as a moon child, you know, and I was like, that feels good. Like that feels really like right. Like with like kind of how I can identify as like a weird being, you know. So I was like, oh, Suzi Moon sounds pretty cool. And that's like, it's not negative. It's not really saying anything in particular, you know, it's more of an idea, you know. And so I've been going by that for almost 15 years. I don't know how I can't count. It's been about 15 years. And that's the name that like, that's me, you know, that really is me. Mm-hmm.
I can identify.
But people have been telling me to go solo for a long time, and I was like, no, I can't go solo because you have to be a band, you know, you have to be a band. But as far as like making things easier, as far as like having something that people can relate to very quickly and very easily, you know, even when I was doing Turbulent Hearts, it was a band name that I, you know, came up with, but it was still me on the cover of everything. And like, I was doing all the work as far as like the creative director stuff and the songwriting and the business side and the managing and the booking. And it's like, actually, I think I'm ready to like put my name out there and kind of claim this thing that I've been working for such a long time. Like, why not just let it be known? Like, I'm fucking running this ship. It's a lot of work, you know, but with that came so many fears, you know, because now it's like, if they don't like you, they don't like you. You know, you can't hide behind a band name or a group of 4 people and be like, well, maybe it was the bass player. You know, it's like, pretty sure that bitch Suzi Moon, who put her name on it, is kind of calling the shots. And so that was definitely intimidating. But, you know, you just have to go for shit. And, you know, when you ask me like who I'm inspired by, like, it's so many people. There are so many incredible artists that have fucking come before us and paved the way. And I try not to compare myself to too many other people. Like my mom would say, it's like, just be the best Suzi you can be, you know? And it's like, yeah, that's like all I can do is just try to do things my way and follow my heart and put out a good product and, you know, not try to fit into some sort of box or genre like this or that, whatever. Yeah, just do it the Suzi way and we'll see what the fuck happens, you know?
Hell yeah.
I love that. I love that what you were talking about, having getting the mood is my parents were hippies, not the like, you know, activist hippies. They were like, let's just get high hippies. So, and my mom told me one day, you know, you almost were named Moonbeam. I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
It wouldn't that it might have got me some ass, but it would have been horrible on paper.
Johnny Moonbeam.
Yeah, no.
Johnny Moonbeam. I love it. I'm a fan.
Johnny was throwing moons, but it was totally different moons. At
Yeah,
that
it was
point.
Yeah.
No, that was called breaking the law.
I hope that means you were just like driving with your friends and like mooning people out the side of the window or something.
No, I used to perform naked. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm
Well,
not there
song of our-
yet.
The last song of our set, I just said, you know what? We got to make a point. So it got a lot of attention.
It was Florida.
I'm sure.
And I'm a Florida man, so there's that.
Florida man performs naked.
Exactly. Just no
Yeah.
crystal or methamphetamines. That's all.
Was this pre-YouTube?
Yes, thank God.
See, you can't get away with that shit anymore.
No, what happens in Vegas ends up on Instagram.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So-
you know, I want to be just controversial enough, you know, like I don't necessarily have brand new ideas to fucking throw out there into the world. I have my own personal way that I decipher things and thoughts into songs and performance, you know, but really what I love about punk rock is like, you know, it's like this beautiful classic formula. Like, you know, we can look at these bands like the Damned and the Clash and the Sex Pistols and the Ramones, and, you know, there was something classy about it. Like they stuck to their guns and they had their thing and they were really good players, you know, and I always listen back to that original fucking punk rock stuff, like the 77 stuff. And I'm like, this was already perfect. Like you can't,
Mhm.
I'm not trying to like top that, you know, I want to contribute back to that era and that original feeling of just like, be the best weirdo you can be and do it well, play your instrument well, put on a good show, you know, and bring a smile to people's face. Like really, we're so connected to music. Like there's nothing like music that will like lift your spirits or change your fucking day or, you know, make you cry, you know, if it's that fucking good. And I just, you know, want to do the best I can to please the punk rock gods, you know.
Yeah, they got staying power. Like you said, the Ramones, like my 5-year-old daughter would hit me up in the past, like, Daddy, hey ho, let's go. So of course I got Blitzkrieg Bop, and she
Yeah.
absolutely adores that song. She'll sing along to it too, and it's like the cutest thing ever.
That's so sweet. Yeah, and it's simple, you know. There are artists that are really good at talking about complicated stuff, but it's like, you know, unless it's coming out of you totally authentically, I don't think you should push yourself too hard to try to like throw a message in there too. Like the message is already coming through whatever story it is that you're telling. So like, you know, I don't try to sit down and like write like a super political song or anything like that. Like with I'm Not a Man, you know, it's definitely like in the realm of feminist anthem, but it's also in a way me making fun of the whole genre of a feminist anthem. Like, you know, it's not a complicated song. It's just something fun that rhymes and is easy to remember, you know. And if anything, I'm like joking about the whole thing, you know. Like it's supposed to be silly, it's supposed to be fun. I don't think it's supposed to be too heavy.
Of course. Yeah.
The music industry has always been like mostly male dominated, and you know, like for you, you know, you've kept busy throughout your years with Civet, Turbulent Hearts, and Suzi Moon. Like, was there ever any point in that kind of made you just want to quit, or you know, or doubt, you know, where you were going with it?
Not in relation to being a woman in music. No. Never. I feel like it's an advantage.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not lost on me that like I'm young, cute, and have boobs. Okay. So like those are all working for me, you know.
Holy fuck, you're honest. I love you. Marry me.
I don't know, man. Like
no,
I mean, I get to play dress up and put on sparkles and makeup. Like those are pluses in my book, you know. And I mean, sure, like maybe there are more men who have sold such and such amount of records, but I don't believe that to really be true, because you look at people like, you know, the Katy Perrys of the world, you know, and like that's a incredibly more marketable person than like Kanye West, you know. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think more people want to look at Katy Perry, and you use that to your advantage, you know, which I don't know. I've just never felt that thing. Like someone was like, no, you can't have it because you're a woman. It's like, no, I can have it because I'm a woman. Like, I don't know.
No, and that's good. That's good. You know, I'm glad to hear that, because, you know, we've seen how sexist the world is, you know. Like,
sure.
I'm sure we've all been guilty of making a comment where you don't realize that, you know, it's putting you in that category. But, you know, and I always wonder how it is for female artists and whatnot. Like, you know, are they harder on themselves or anything because they feel they're trying to be better than the guys? Because you know what, like there's a lot of women that I know are way better than the guys. So, you know, yourself included. So like, you know,
yeah, I mean, I'm only my own competition, really, you know. I'm not competing with fucking, you know, any male band out there, because I'm not them. Like, it seems really simple to me. Like, you know, like everyone should have that freedom to express themselves. And, you know, I don't think it has as much to do with male or woman versus each other, or, you know, as it does with just who wrote the best fucking song. And that takes work. You have to sit down and work at being a better artist, you know. But like, are you going to tell me that, like, I'm not going to sit here and say which is better, Dolly Parton or Prince, you know, like, but there's enough room for everybody and the great songs, you know. And certainly when I was like 17 and maybe some guy was like, do you need help loading your gear? You know, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I take my gear. Like, why would I carry my own gear around? That's stupid. Like, and it's not always, you know, like a misogynistic thing. Like, I don't know, I don't go around thinking that everybody is against me all the time. I think generally people are pretty nice. Sure, they might be shocked. Maybe they haven't seen a woman do that thing, but it's like in 2022, I find it pretty hard to believe that someone is shocked by anything that I do. There's been shock, awe, and horror for the last 30 years in music. I'm not the first or the last. So if somebody wants to be chivalrous and help me with my gear, I think there are other situations where just in general, like, it doesn't matter who it is, but like if people try to infiltrate like your band space, I don't really like that. Like, my band knows how to run our band stuff, or at the merch table or whatever, and you don't want to let too many strangers around touching your stuff, but I've been met with like a lot of really fucking nice people, and I don't know how it could be that I'm the only one that's like having these generally pleasant experiences, but I don't want to base my career off bashing men or even, anybody who might just be fucking excited, and there's always a learning opportunity too, if somebody touches you in the wrong way, just be really scary to them. Get in their fucking face and tell them not to fucking touch you, and that could be any sex, any gender, so I'm just not walking around feeling like, there's a whole group of people who see me as less than, because I just don't buy it.
That's very good points, though, because I mean, yeah, and you're right. We've kind of gotten into where we have to classify ourselves in order to say or do something. I don't do that. I'm kind of the older of the schools here, not much more, but still, we didn't talk. We just said it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the chips fell is where they fell. You either understood us or you didn't.
Yeah.
Like go back to Dead Kennedys. He uses the N-word. And but that was in context of speech and from the perspective of an outside. So we've kind of lost a little bit of that. I don't say we have to go back to doing that. Certainly, we don't have to. There's other ways to put it. But you're right, as far as your assessment of how you seem to carry on in your life. I appreciate that.
I mean, if it was 1981, like, I'm sure a lot of people we know were saying similar things because it was that's just how things were at that time. That doesn't make it right, but it's like you can't just pinpoint one person and be like, you're the person that's wrong with everything, there's also like a what's that, like the consciousness, when it's like a lot of people are kind of thinking the same thing, collective consciousness, and like I think we have to use that for good also. If I do every interview talking about how things have been really hard for me and men are bad to me, like, what kind of message does that send? Like, what if I have a son someday? Like, like, that's not really like the right thing, I don't think, to project into the world. Just project peace and good vibes and treating each other with kindness in general, no matter who you are,
Suzi, there's a site called suzimoon.net. Is that you? Mm-mm.
No.
Well, you should check it out.
I have suzimoon.com. What's on it?
Good.
It's an artist. SuziMoon.net's actually an artist.
Oh, is it the lady?
That's what I mean. We assume.
Yeah, no.
Strange art.
I've seen her around. She's like an actual artist.
Really?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of
I feel like
cool.
we should have lunch. Like,
You should totally.
this
I'm
woman
ready
and
to
I
watch
should write her and be like, listen, I'm suzimoon.com, you're suzimoon.net, like, we're both doing art, like
who's got dibs on suzimoon.ca?
Nobody, because that's Canada, Trevor. That's
Hey, whatever.
suzimoon.gov.
There's Canadian fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I have seen her though. She's around, good for her. I hope that people end up on her website sometimes, like, and vice versa, well, we don't know how many people are out there looking for her beautiful watercolors and ending up listening to Special Place in Hell.
Well, I'll roll in while we're waiting for Johnny. I'll roll into the next question. Because of our SoCal connections.
Oh,
I have a
yeah.
little bit of a personal question with
Okay.
someone that you've worked with in the past, and we actually have him. We're in the middle of scheduling with him to get him on the show. But Paul Rossler over at
Oh.
how was it working with Paul? Like, what's the experience like working with Paul? Because I hear good things.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear he's kind of a genius at what he does. So what was it for you?
Paul is so cool. I can't say enough great things about Paul. I don't think my vocals have ever sounded so good ever. Like, I don't know. I'll have to text him and ask him what microphone he used. Again, I've probably asked him before. You know, he's a very calm guy. He's very mellow, very chill. And I work well around people who are fucking chilled the fuck out, you know? I mean, he's such a pro. He's been doing it for so long. I didn't actually know who he was before I worked with him the first time, because he was friends with Ricky Styx, who was in LA Machina with me. And Ricky has been doing her drums with Paul for years. He's the only guy that she will go to do drums. And she had booked some studio time for LA Machina. And I was like, cool. And I had actually been to his studio before to take promo pictures of the 210s, because they're old buddies of mine. So I'd been to the studio before, and like, here's this guy, Paul. And I'm like, Paul this, Paul that, you know, totally just getting along with him. And then I like took some time to Wikipedia him, and I was like, oh, Paul is cool. Like, Paul is really fucking cool. Wow.
Rap sheet. Yeah, his rap sheets.
Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. So I had no fucking clue when we started working together, but you know, he's just got such a great spirit, and is somebody who's worked with so many different types of artists. You know, I think he knows exactly what he can get out of his studio, and he wants to take bands that he knows will sound good coming out of his studio. Like there's a fit there, you know. But man, he's just such a great guy. And you know, the Call the Shots EP that was done there with him, it's a really awesome experience. I'm not in LA anymore, so it's like, I don't know when I'm gonna get a chance to work with Paul again, but I love that guy, and it was awesome.
If we get you back out here to do something with Paul, I'd love to pop up and say hello in person.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Oh yeah, we had a lot of pizza parties in his studio, and this was like peak COVID times when we were recording there. So we really kept like a pretty tight little bubble. So there was a period of time when I was only seeing the LA Machina girls, Paul, and my boyfriend. You know, it was like those were the only people I was seeing in the world. So yeah, lots of happy times there.
Welcome back, Johnny.
There you are, Johnny.
Johnny.
Johnny's back.
I tell you what, a lot like we used to do, man. I once had a PA go out on me. I just walked through the crowd and sang the whole time.
I love it.
You do what you got to do, you know. You keep it going.
Yeah. The show must go on.
There was a quote in Unread magazine that said, talking about being a kid, and you quoted as saying, a lot of time at the beach surfing and riding longboards down PCH with my friends. I had a childhood speckled with some horrible traumatic experiences. The scales were balanced. So what lessons did you ultimately learn from your trauma, and how did you find balance in your life?
Dude, I want to go back to Long Beach and ride my fucking longboard.
Come on down, let's go. I got 2 longboards sitting right here. You can use one of mine.
You know what's funny is like both me and my best girlfriend that I grew up with, we went to middle school, high school together. We're besties, you know. This past week has been hard on everybody watching the war happen between Russia and Ukraine. And I texted her and I said, dude, I just want to go back to like 8th grade, mobbing around Long Beach on our fucking longboards without a care in the world, man. But we can't go back. Yeah, I mean, bad things happen to everybody, right? It's impossible to go through life without sad things happening to you. I got a lot of strength from my mom. My mom is a fucking badass. She had her own business and was in college and running her own business, and somehow taking care of 3 kids, you know, while I was growing up, and always like nurturing like this desire for me to be totally fucking artistic and totally weird, you know. And yeah, it's like music is a big help in so many ways, because, you know, when you sing a song that has like some of that pain in it, and you hear back from other people like, oh, that, you know, that meant so much to me, or that reminded me of this one time that I went through, you know, it's like this connector that makes, it kind of like just evens the playing field a bit and makes you feel less alone. But I mean, I'm an adult and I'm still dealing with that shit, you know, like, I don't think it ever really goes away. You have to continue to work through challenges and stuff. But man, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just all part of the path, basically. I had to get like really tough in order to pull off a lot of crazy shit.
Well, I mean, that toughness comes from somewhere, so, right? You, I mean, you had a, I mean, it's like you had a, so you came from a single parent home then.
Kind of.
Well,
Kinda,
I'm a
sorta.
24/7 single dad myself, so it's, you know, I get it.
Yeah. Well, props to you, because that's not easy.
No.
Yeah. But me and my brother and my sister, like, we've always been really tight. Like, my family in general, it's basically the 4 of us, my mom, my brother, my sister, and me, are just like this really, really tight unit. And we're all a little bit weird, but like in a really good kind of way.
There's nothing wrong with it.
You know, I talk to my family every single day. So like that, I feel really blessed to have that, because even though there's not a ton of us, you know, our connection is really tight, and they're my best friends.
Well, shit, that takes care of that question there. I was gonna ask, you know, being Women's History Month, about you know, who's your biggest hero, but we have obviously heard between your mother, who sounds like an amazing woman, and your sister, like, I would say those are your 2 female heroes right there.
They really are. Yeah.
That's awesome though. That's awesome that you have that kind of connection with your family.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel really lucky to have that, you know. And just like simple shit, like my mom took the house that we grew up in. She bought like a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house in Long Beach for what, under $200,000 in like 1994, 1995. Built it into a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, 2-story, and sold it. And you know, that house is now valued at over $1 million in that location, you know. She always she knew where to be. Somehow she knew the right places to be, but she built that house herself. Like we were in Home Depot every other day, you know, and there's my mom fucking hammering nails, like having the inspectors come over, putting in, you know, this, that, or the other thing, and like really like built our childhood home from the ground up. Like she did that. So I've always been really impressed with her tenacity.
Amazing.
That's DIY as fuck.
That's $1.5 million. Long Beach 5-bedroom house, $1.5 million, $2 million, easy.
Oh yeah. Like nice neighborhood. Kind of by the traffic circle, you know.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
Oh, fantastic. They got some good vegan joints up there now.
Fuck, before there were so many vegan joints, because I went like vegan when I was about 13, and that was totally because I went to like Warped Tour and they had all the meat is murder pamphlets, you know. And I was like, yeah, this is how I'm going to piss off my mom. I'll be vegan. Then she won't know what to feed me. And she'll be really mad. Like, totally worked. We'd go out to dinner and she'd be like, this is Susie, my special child. She's going to ask you about everything that's in the dressing, you know? I'm like, yeah, isn't that fucking annoying?
Have you carried that till now?
No, I just eat whatever the fuck I feel like eating. Like, it's not fun anymore. I'm not pissing anybody off.
our other pit boss, Chef Brady, he's a professional chef, and one of his questions for you was, being that food's a huge deal for him, he wanted to know, what's your diet like on the road versus at home?
Yeah, I do try to eat well when I'm on tour. It is so hard to do that. If you're getting out of a show and it's 3 a.m, and if you're on the East Coast, we've got Wawa, which I don't understand why there aren't Wawa on the West Coast, because Wawa is like the greatest place in the world. I love Wawa so much. You can get hot, fresh, ready-made sandwiches at like all hours of the night. It's just the best convenience store ever. But I mean, at home, like I work out a lot. I try to work out every other day, like minimum. And that's mostly for really my mental health. It helps me like wring out all the fucking stress, and I'm a better girlfriend, I'm a better band leader, I'm a better everything when I like get to work that shit out of myself. I eat a lot of deli meat, like a lot of turkey slices and cheese and stuff like that. So I try to do that on the road too, like more of a protein heavy, but at the same time, I don't like to eat hours before I perform. If I have it my way, I don't eat pretty much the whole day until after I perform, because if there's like stuff like sloshing around in my belly, I just feel mad and fat and like I can't focus, and I'm not a breakfast person anyway. Like I never eat breakfast. I guess it's like intermittent fasting, but I've been doing that since I was about 16. Like I don't eat until like 2 p.m. or later. So, and something actually I learned from Mike Ness when Civet toured with Social Distortion was he wouldn't eat anything for at least 4 hours before he got on stage. Like he needed like that amount of time to like just feel like kind of like light, and like so you can fight. And so yeah, you'll never see me eating right before a show. But you know what, man, you're on the road. If you play a really good show and you need like a grilled cheese sandwich or a fucking chocolate, like, if I earned it, I earned it. And I decide when I've earned it, basically.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but we have a lot of trail mix and beef jerky and like, the basic shit. But if you can get fruit on tour, like nothing will make you feel better than like berries on tour. It's like, oh my God, berries, fruit. What?
Roadside fruit stand. Yeah, it's one of those roadside fruit stands. You're like, shit, pull off. There they are.
Yeah.
25 avocados for $3. So right there. Over there.
Or some melon, Give me an apple, I'll be like, ew, no, keep that away from me. I know apples are like the least fun fruit.
A good golden delicious apple you cannot beat.
Yeah.
Nah, they're too soft. Get out of here. Get out of here with your soft apples, Churchy.
I will like always eat something else before I go for an apple. I don't know what it is. And then I'll have an apple and be like, this is really good, but like it's never my first choice.
Yeah, mine's usually a cheeseburger over an apple.
Protein.
There you go.
Yes. So what band would you say was the most fun to share a stage with, Suzi?
Ooh. I would say Dropkick Murphys.
Nice.
Yeah. Something changed forever when I toured with Dropkick Murphys. Not only are like they the most pro fucking group of men on stage I've ever seen. Like they are so tight, but it's fun every single time too. Like they're such a well-oiled machine, and they put on such a huge production. Like for punk rock, I think they're doing it so well. And every night we'd be on the side of the stage, just like, dude, look at that energy nonstop. Like they give 1,000% every single time. And they know how important their show is to their fans, and they never let their fans down. And I admire them so much for that.
Oh yeah, I saw him in Boise back in 2014, and it's just a little club show,
Mhm.
place where I always go to see punk bands or rock bands, and they just, my God, it was like a religious experience. Like, 'cause I
Oh
finally
yeah.
got to see the Dropkick Murphys. I missed them twice in the past before that because I had to leave early from a Warped Tour one time, and then finally get to see the Murphys, and it was
Mhm.
everything I hoped it would be. I sing along with all the songs, and drinking Guinness in the air.
Yeah. See,
Like,
they've
I could die
created this little universe, and I think that's something magical that bands can do. And like if we think of those bands, like we said, the Ramones, the Clash, and we throw Dropkick in there, Rancid in there. Nobody's doing exactly what these bands are doing. They created their little universe where their rules apply, and it's very niche. And a Dropkick Murphys fan when you see them, and they've just, they deliver on what they say they're going to do, every single time. And I think they were like the first big punk band that I saw up close and personal like that had an incredible like light show to go along with it. Like I was like, oh shit, a lighting guy, like that's a thing that like really can take shit to the next level. They think of everything as far as the production goes to put on the best show possible for the fans, and they fucking do that how many days out of the year? Like they are so pro.
Yeah, and I've seen that, like you mentioned, Social Distortion and Mike Ness. Like I've seen that from them as well here. When they play to their Southern California crowd, they know their crowd, they know their people. I saw them at Hootenanny. They followed.
Oh, fun.
They followed fucking Richard. My fucking brain's not working. But they followed Little Richard.
Oh,
and
fuck.
It was like, again, religious experience because I'm so ingrained in Social Distortion. I'm like, Little Richard, yeah, he's cool and all, but Social Distortion's next. And then we finished Little Richard's like, holy fucking shit, we just saw Little fucking Richard.
Yeah.
Distortion came on and played to the same crowd.
Yeah.
And just lit the fire. And it was that same, like Churchy said, that religious experience of their crowd, they knew their people, they knew what to play, and they knew the performance to put on to work with that crowd there. And it was unbelievable.
And that's showing respect for your audience. I'm sure that there have been moments when Mike Ness and Little Richard have felt like, man, I don't want to play that song tonight, but it's not just about you. It's about the people who, worked for so many days to save up the money to buy the ticket and drove out to the show and have been looking forward to this for months. Like you have a responsibility as an artist to give the people what they want, because they're really the ones that put you there.
Absolutely.
Well, I will say Social Distortion did that. Little Richard did the million opposite. Everybody in the crowd was yelling, play this, and he was yelling, shut up, I'm playing this. It was a different experience, but Social
That's cool.
I'd say
yeah, and also it's like no one's gonna know it. What can you say to fucking Little Richard? Like, nah, he can do whatever he wants.
The diva on the best day. So at that point he was like, this is me and this is who I am, and that's fine. But
awesome.
I just want to hear Long Tall Sally.
Yeah, nobody asked for it. He said no. He said, shut up, this is what I'm playing.
Oh my god. And I'd be like, we're not worthy.
Yeah, you're
Total Wayne and Garth, yes.
Can you imagine being Mike Ness and having to go on after fucking Little Richard?
No.
Really, guys? Really?
I just pack up.
I gotta follow a rock and roll legend. Fuck.
He walked on that stage such a humble man. You could see it. Like he paid his own tribute, he didn't say anything. He didn't do anything, but you could see coming on that stage following Little Richard, Mike paid that tribute. It was beautiful. It was absolutely.
I love it. I love it. It's so cool.
Well, to get back to something that you were mentioning earlier, Suzi, we talked about like bands that are shown, like, they have, it's not that we're out there realism, but they know how to put on a show. And that's why we even pay for a ticket, right? We don't want to just, sing along. We want to have something. We don't want somebody stand there being all boring. course, no one wants that. So, but all these bands, like when you mentioned, you know, Mike Ness or Dropkick, they have carved out, like you said, a niche. They have a sound. From the first guitar riff, you know who it is.
Mhm.
So how do you set yourself apart like that?
Ooh, well, fuck. Again, like, I don't really know like what it is. I'm just trying to find what works for me and feels authentic, you know? I definitely am my own harshest critic after a show, you know, if there's something like, okay, like I've been trying to use my hands more as I'm performing, right? Because I look at people like Judy Garland or Edith Piaf, who are these incredible women entertainers who had this way. They didn't have instruments. Their voices were the instruments, you know, and that emotion. Because I've been playing guitar for so long on stage, the few times I don't have my guitar in my hand, which I love to do because it's fun, I don't always know what to do with my hands, right? And then I'll feel uncomfortable. And if I feel uncomfortable, somebody can notice that, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want that. Like, I'm always critiquing myself. And it really comes down to like how I felt in the moment, you know, because I really I want to connect with people. And the song is like my blueprint, you know, but it's like, I'm in there trying to like find ways to like kind of break through to people, you know? So I've really been consciously trying to use my hands more and I'll pray for it. I'll be, God, please let me use my hands and find a way to like make them feel good and like natural. Like it's got to be like another, like the extension of me. Like I've got the guitar, I know exactly what I'm doing with the guitar, but then it becomes a really scary moment for me when I feel vulnerable, you know, because I don't have this tool to whip around, you know, like I am the tool and I want to be in more control of my body on stage so I can give the performance that I want to give. But, you know, I'm not a dancer, you know, and I'm not just a singer. So, you know, I'll watch videos of Prince, you know, who was somebody who flawlessly like blended the guitar to not guitar to guitar and always like projecting his energy outward, you know. So I'm just trying to find what feels right to me and fits with my songs, but that isn't inauthentic, you know. And that's part of my journey as an artist, is being the best I can be, but you know, sometimes I feel totally fucking awkward and wonder if it looked as stupid as it felt it like it did in my head, you know. So really I'm looking forward to these upcoming tours that I have. We're doing 8 days with Teenage Bottle Rocket and then 26 days with our buddies Ravagers. So that is a long stretch. That is going to be the longest touring like fucking little tour season that I've done since I was in civet. So that was like a fucking 1,000 years ago, you know. And with the Suzi Moon band, because we were working with like COVID and like, you know, we were still new. We really just started playing shows as a band together in September of 2021. So I haven't had as much time on stage as I would like to have, you know. And every show you get a little bit more, you know, tight and you figure things out and, oh, I want to do that thing again because it felt good, or like that was a good moment, you know, or no, I'll never do that fucking thing again. You know, that was fucking
Been there,
dumb.
done that.
Yeah, you know. So for me, as somebody who likes to push themselves and better myself, like this is an opportunity that I have coming up to see what it is I'm capable of doing, you know. But I don't even know yet because we're not there. Like, but I'm gonna try. you know, because it's fun for me. I really like to put on a show.
Well, speaking of Teenage Bottle Rocket,
Yeah.
this Saturday we've got Darren Chuka coming on.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's going to sit down with us and shoot the shit about some Teenage Bottle Rocket, and then I believe, is it the next week after that we actually have Ray coming on?
Yeah, Ray's
No way.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got a
That's so cool.
basically the next tour right here.
How
This
awesome.
next week, right?
How did that
That's
come
great.
about for you, Susie? How did you guys come together, you and Teenage Bottle Rocket, to get on tour together?
Yeah, well, I've been friends with Ray for years. And he's been a fan of my projects, and I've always loved his project, you know. Sorry, my battery thing. And it's funny because like Ray and I never run into each other in like a normal way. It's all like always backstage at a festival in Europe or backstage at the fucking festival in Northern California. Or it's like I only ever see him in places where neither of us lives. Like, you know, and this has been going on for like the last 5 years. I'll be like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? You know, like, yeah, he's the homie, you know, and we've been supporters of each other for a long time. I am so impressed with his ability to create a happy place for his fans to go. The last time I saw him was in October. They came through Baltimore, so I went up to see the show, you know, and that was one of the first shows I'd kind of been to outside of my own shows, like actually going and watching somebody else play. And, you know, I look around at the fans and stuff, and these people are just singing every single word, and their fists are in the air and they're smiling. And I jumped in the pit because my friend is actually Teenage Bottle Rocket's tour manager, and we were in the pit together screaming along. And I'm like, you know, right in front of Ray, just like, I'm so happy you're here and this is happening. And like, you know, I love music so much. Like, and so we talked a little bit backstage, and then they just asked us to do the shows, and I was like, well, duh, like, of course. Yeah, I love that band. They're so great, and they do what they do so well. They're so catchy and fast, and you know, it takes a lot of work, a lot of years of touring, and they've built something really good for themselves. And sorry, I'm adjusting that. And it was really, really sad when Brandon passed away, you know. And I can't imagine how hard that was for Ray to carry on, and the amount of strength that he had to pull from his heart to keep doing it, you know. Like, I'm so incredibly proud of him for keeping the band alive. I think that was a really courageous thing to do, and must have come with a lot of heartache. But what he's doing is really important for punk rock, and it makes people happy, and it's a positive thing. And, you know, so I feel lucky that I get to call some really cool artists my friends.
What band in the last year has really caught your attention? Could be an old band, but you know, if there's a new band out there that really has grabbed your attention, you think other people should know?
I don't listen to as much music as you might think I do. I've actually been going through one of those weird, I feel like I've heard everything that I like already, you know. I did check out like Amyl and the Sniffers, because a lot of people have been talking about them and stuff, and I think they're cool. But I'm not like, there's no band that's like got me like really like excited, which kind of sucks. And I probably just haven't done my homework, honestly. But I've been so focused on the Suzi Moon thing, and like, you know, you guys don't know that I've been approving mixes for a full length, and rehearsing and playing. Like, I'm very much in a bubble right now where I mean, when I'm at the gym, I listen to Prince, and I listen to Elton John, and I listen to Against Me. And like,
Amazing choices.
It's
Yeah,
nothing
like-
new. And I always feel so guilty when people ask me if there's anyone new that I've been listening to. And I'm like, no, I suck. I'm so sorry. But I don't have Spotify. And there's so much music in my life. Like, I'm not walking around listening to music all the time. You know, we listen to a lot of classical guitar in my house, you know, just instrumental, you know, like, we have a very mellow household. And I drive around in silent in my car, you know. There's so much going on in my fucking head. Like, I want to see shows. I love seeing shows. And I saw fucking Green Day at the Hella Mega Tour last summer, and like I cried, you know, and like I will always go and see a big show that's like important to me. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just don't listen to that much music all the time. I've got my record collection right here. I'm looking at it, and my boyfriend got me Devo. Hold on. I have an opportunity here. First of all, Gates of Steel is like the best song ever written since the beginning of all time.
All clap.
So I would listen to
Yeah, I'll
music.
clap for that.
I would listen to music if songs weren't already playing in my head all the time. Like, I've had Gates of Steel stuck in my head for like 3 days, you know? But I would like to plug Pirates Press Records right now because they're the best record label in the world. Look what I got, the new Charger record.
Oh, nice. I
So-
saw those all boxed up the other day.
Love Matt Freeman.
We love Matt Freeman.
Hell yeah.
Doesn't that look nice?
Oh, nice.
The
That's
little demon.
some Dio-esque artwork there. Holy diver.
Yeah. So this actually just came to my house yesterday, and I haven't gone to listen to it yet. But I'm fucking stoked because every once in a while Pirates Press Records will send me a little like goodie box, you know. And I was like, where's the Charger record? I want the fucking Charger.
I'm totally jealous because this is not like you're seeing the front face, but
Oh,
every
I know that there's
single
stuff
one is
behind that.
full. Yeah, every single one is full. And Pirates,
Yeah.
you know, I just recently acquired the Pirates Press Rancid.
Oh, nice.
I'm a
Nice.
so
Oh
I'm-
yeah.
I gotta say I'm
I
very
mean-
jealous of the little gift boxes that they're sending you.
Yeah, they're so cool, you know, and I really appreciate the fact that they want their artists to support and know the other artists. It's like I would have
Absolutely.
bought that Charger record anyway. Like, I've been looking forward to it, you know. And there's another band called Sweat that are pretty new Pirates Press Records hardcore band. I want to say they're from Long Beach actually. And they sent me that record too. So I'm really excited about that. And then also, guys, I just got the box of my vinyl for my new record, Animal. So I'm supposed to do an unboxing video, right? So I haven't even opened it and looked at my own record yet. It's been about a week that I've had these vinyl. Because honestly, I've just been so depressed last week with what's going on in the world. I haven't wanted to put on makeup or put on an outfit and like smile for the camera, essentially, you know. I know I should do it because it'll actually make me happy. Like, I'll be happy when I look at my record for the first time, you know. But so I got a weird week, so I'm like, but I know it's something I need to do because it will probably snap me out of it. But yeah, I can't wait to see my own record, you know, because Pirates Press Records, just their quality is like unmatched. Like, this is so fucking beautiful. Like, look how silky and soft and like sexy that shit is. You know, like, they're so good at what they do.
So I like to see that you got like some Devo. You got, you know, you mentioned Francis. That way, we interviewed Dick Lucas from the Subhuman, and we were surprised
cool.
to learn that ABBA is one of his faves. So,
Oh
you know.
yeah, fuck yeah, yeah. Because ABBA is amazing. Well, I mean, you know, Joey Ramone wasn't listening to punk rock because there was no punk rock, right?
Yeah,
But it
it's
doesn't mean that
50s rock.
Yeah, if I listened to only punk rock, then I probably wouldn't write a good song, like, and I think that most artists, most musicians most of them probably listen to a wide variety of music.
I
Because there's,
listen to Encanto over and
there
over
you go.
with my kids.
That's really cute.
Yeah, not that your kids.
Of course you do.
Not that your
Suzi,
kids.
you mentioned like it's
I don't even get to listen to punk rock in my own house. It's all Encanto and
Oh, I'm a Coco fan.
Coco. Yes,
Coco's
Coco is a
Such a
great
good
fan.
movie.
Great
Yeah.
movie.
So cute. I've got, the Eagles and Beatles, of course, but also Ike and Tina Turner is a big one for me. And, Elvis Costello, I like the new wave stuff too, but Otis Redding and Smokey Robinson, like Smokey is like
Oh, yeah.
my guy. Smokey Robinson and like Tom Petty are like my two favorites, because as far as songwriting goes, like the amount of songs they fucking churned out that were just so good and so universally relatable. Like, that's,
Stevie Wonder
I'm
fan.
just trying to be my own Smokey Robinson over here,
You could pick any cube here and I could pull a record at random, and 90% of the time we're gonna get something that's not punk rock, just because my spread is so wide. And I just like you find all these artists that have such an amazing spread that punk rock doesn't exist if they don't exist. So
Oh yeah.
going
Yeah.
back to those roots, it's too good to miss.
So
I
cool.
got Lena Horne and Ray Charles sitting there in my box.
There you go. Yeah.
Lightning turned into the storm, but all right, Suzi. So I'll hit the second question. Obviously, you talked about the depression the last week with the war going on and everything, and we like to touch on the second question on societal issues and nonprofits and charities and things like that not only we can help expose, but what's passionate to the artists that we speak to. What charity or cause or or issue would you like to bring to light if you were put on the spot to pick one? What would it be right now?
Yeah, well, being from Los Angeles, the homeless problem in LA has never gotten better since I was a kid. Like, it's amazing. The Sidewalk Project is a nonprofit that works with homeless in Los Angeles and in and around Southern California, basically, and provides all kinds of resources for them. I was going to start working with them, but then I left Southern California. And right now, I've been very tapped out of like a lot of, I don't know anyone where I live right now, and so it's been weird coming back into life in a sense, but I really admire what they're doing. And there are a lot of nonprofits in downtown LA that are helping the homeless problem, but that is one of those things where it's like, where do you even begin essentially to fix it? And I love and admire seeing people go person to person down there to actually just extend a helping hand and a hug and, whatever sort of supplies somebody might need, just that act of kindness, I think is really important. So they're doing a really good job. So if anyone's interested in that, go check out the Sidewalk Project and see how you can help.
We actually have some connections with the Sidewalk Project that we're kind of working on right now. So that's, I'm super excited that you mentioned that because I know what they're doing.
Yeah. Soma is fucking awesome. And Soma has a massive heart. I know that Stacey D from Bad Cop is involved. So is Beebs, but then there's so many people they're not in bands. They're not people that you might know, but they're good human beings who are out there trying to help, their brothers and sisters who are homeless out on the street. And it's just the craziest thing. I remember being a kid and driving through downtown and like waving to a homeless guy. I must have been like 5 years old, and my mom was like, "Don't do that," and I couldn't understand why. Like you shouldn't just wave to every person that you saw, So the Sidewalk Project, they're out there, they're in person, they're telling people stories, and they're showing them love that they absolutely deserve and need. So they're fucking cool.
Actually, I heard of them through Matt. So for you, giving them such a wonderful endorsement speaks volumes. Thank you.
Yeah, and Sidewalk Project, they've been popping into local shows and working with local bands, and a friend of mine who's the lead singer of a local band called Taken Days. We actually got a sound bite, and we put we've actually put out on our social media a sound bite of the lead singer saying, "Hey, welcome to Rules of the Pit," kind of a thing. But he's wearing a Sidewalk Project shirt in the clip.
Oh, that's awesome.
I hadn't seen it before, and when I talked to him, he gave me the rundown on how awesome they were and all the work. They really caught my attention at that point. I came back to the guys and I said, guys, we really should talk to Sidewalk Project about how we can get them out there. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Them up was just like that solidifies that, the notion and the movement towards it. So
totally. Yeah. You should bring them on the show. I'm sure.
100%,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. To reach more people.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So the main rule of the pit is when someone falls, you pick them up. So I ask you, Suzi, if you could add a rule to that, what would your rule be?
I mean, don't be a dick is a good one.
That's the best one.
We've heard that a couple of times. It's a good rule.
It's like the unspoken rule.
Right?
Like there's the rule, and then like in parentheses, it's like, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I definitely think boundaries are important in all situations in life, but again, like if you go into things with a nasty attitude or a negative attitude, you might get met with that because you're already presenting it to the universe that like you're looking for some sort of trouble, just be fucking nice.
Thank you very much. We've loved talking to you. I've totally loved talking to you again.
Me too.
You're such a sweetheart. And thank you for coming on and being one of those stronger women in music and punk rock and doing what you're doing just to get your music out, which helps that. And on top of that, you're just kicking ass. So
thank you.
But thank you very much for coming on. And I speak for myself, but I also know these guys enough that we truly appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank you, Suzi.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to play us out, Suzi. Play us out with where everybody can find you and what kind of tours you got coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you can go to suzimoon.com. You can also go to suzimoon.net if you're looking for some nice watercolor. I'm kidding. It's some lady. Suzimoon.com is going to have all of my tour dates with ticket links. So that's to make it very easy on everybody. I've got a lot of shows coming up. The tour Teenage Bottle Rocket, the full US tour with Ravagers. And then we're going to be doing some more mini tours throughout the summer. And then we're going to Europe. Fingers crossed, we're going to Europe this summer if everything goes as planned. I have the Animal EP, which is my brand new EP coming out on Pirates Press Records on April 1st. I'm really, really excited because the 3 songs they're really fun. And that's like, it's one of the best things about being an artist is when like you finally get to unleash like a full set of songs on the world, it's like all that hard work, it's out there. So I'm really looking forward to releasing that. And then there will be a full length later in the summer. And just come and hang out at a show. I love to meet new people. I love to talk about music. And I think everyone needs to shake off some of the kind of bad vibes, and let's just go and let's like forget it for like one night, and just have a fucking cool time and make some friends and scream at the top of our lungs.
Thank you again, Susie. We
All right,
Thank
really-
you.
It was